Desiree here, and we are going to have some fun with some peg stamps by Rubber Stamp Tapestry. This set is called Sweet Song of Spring. And when I saw it, I need spring to get here. I don't know about y'all, but I need it to get here, pretty much. Oh my goodness. And it made me think of Easter. So, an egg. Thought of an egg. So first, I've grabbed 2 pieces of cardstock. This is actually Bristol cardstock because we're going to be adding a lot of distress inks. Now, I've got Kitsch Flamingo, Squeezed Lemonade. I'm trying to look at all of the colors, and all I'm doing with this is splattering. This is Twisted Citron that's coming in now. This is the Kitsch Flamingo. Now, you want to make sure before you use your oxides that you really shake them up. I like to swirl them to get that ball moving around there to make sure that they're nice and merged, mixed up. That's the color I wanted. This color here is Broken China, and next is Shaded Lilac. So bright colors. Now, I'm not drying in between these. I'm not, usually you always hear me, if you're using more than one color, you gotta make sure everything's dried in between. Not when you're doing splatters. And this is a happy springy splatter. So it's not really a snowstorm because we did not add any white. What I did add was a little bit of water as well. And now I am hitting that with my heat tool. And then I'm coming in with a dry cloth just to get those few splatters that refuse to dry. There's always a few. You can see the 2 panels that I have. One is smaller than the other. And you'll see what we're going to do with that. So I've die cut the image from, it's from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And it is called Entwined Egg. So it looks like it's going to look like it's a twine that's going all over. But I just want the center. I marked this down onto my scratch paper here, and I have my peg stamps ready. And I'm using my Memento inks. I'm using Summer Sky, Bamboo Leaves, Dandelion, Lulu Lavender, Desert Sand, and Rosebud. And I'm just going to stamp on this center. This center piece here. Now, this piece that I'm using is not Bristol. I went to my regular Nina Solar White to stamp on because I wanted this image to be a little bit brighter so that it would stand out. I started with the leaves, and I'm just putting those along the bottom. And now I'm coming in with the florals, and that's where the dandelion, the Lulu Lavender, the Summer Sky, and the Rosebud are being used. And it's just looking like flowers are coming, falling down onto a meadow. Now, this peg stamp set also has an adorable little chick. Too cute. Way too cute. And I stamped that in archival ink because I'm going to do just a little bit of watercoloring with this. Now, I am on Nina Solar White, and this is the 80 pound, but I'm not adding so much water that it's going to buckle. But you could also use your colored pencils, you could use your alcohol markers, you could just use regular markers. Again, always use what you have for any of your coloring. I'm going to come in with 2 distress inks. I'm going to come in with Wild Honey and Squeezed Lemonade. And again, just a small brush, going to pick up a little bit of that color there, color in the entire little chick there. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of the Wild Honey just along the edges to help give some shading to this cute little guy. And then along the top as well. And then we're just going to let that dry. Again, not crazy with the water. Have hardly any water on that brush. There's a paper towel that you can't see that I always dabbed on before I came over. Now that our panels are dry, I've cut the nested circle out of a dark chocolate brown cardstock, and I'm going to glue that down onto our speckled background. Now you can see this is a nice size egg. This fills up. That panel there is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's a standard A2 size panel, and you can see it goes from edge to edge, or at least top to bottom. To make the stamped panel back or stand out, I am going around with a little bit, just a little, of vintage photo. So it looks like that egg is casting a shadow on the front of this. I'm going to glue this straight down and do a die cut inlay and put that piece right in the center. It also comes, this die set, with some flowers, so I die cut them from pink and yellow, and then some craft cardstock for the centers. So I'm just going to place those around. Some of them are going to be doubled up. Some are just going to have one. Once they're in place, I will then also set the craft centers as well, and then we'll come back to those because I'm actually going to put some gems on top of those centers as well. I did not want to do any ink blending on top of the flowers. I thought they stood very well against all of those other colors that we have going on this. There's a lot going on this, and that's another reason why I placed that vintage photo around that stamped design that we did. I love the speckled background, speckled egg background. But it does stand out very well because the colors are so different. I'm going to take this panel and I'm going to adhere it onto my standard A2 size card base. So now, the inside. So that smaller panel that I have, I'm going to glue that to the inside as well. Now I know everyone's thinking, but Des, you can't write on that. You're absolutely correct. And I thought of that after I placed it down because I thought it was really cute. And I'm like, yay, I'm doing the inside of a card. Yep. So I have a die cut here of just a flower shape by Sizzix. And we're going to set that on the inside so we can write our message there. Now, if we're writing a novel, we have the top part where we can write our novel. But I just thought it was cute just to add that to the center. I do get very inspired by Amy R. That she always does the inside of her cards, and I think it's great. So, you know what? I actually thought about it. Didn't think it all the way through, but I thought about it. So, yay me. I hope you enjoyed today's project with Rubber Stamp Tapestry and their sweet song of spring. So hopefully it's coming soon for us. As always, the products that I use will be listed down below. And if you'd like to check them out, the links will be there as well. If you have any questions, please make sure you leave those down below as well. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I keep saying as well. Oh my goodness. Enjoy. Have fun creating. I hope I gave you some ideas for some cards that you would like to make. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and make sure you ring the bell because YouTube may notify you. But I do post here regularly. But most of all, and most important for me, everyone, always be creative. Take care, and I'll talk to you in the next one.